Hi guys, Sonja from Sonja Arroyo Art here. Today I wanted to show you how to create a black ocean art pour that has an almost mirror-like reflection. And for a modern and elegant look, we're going to do that with an XL crackle beach that has a gold leaf finish on it. I'm working on a wooden board and I'm just gonna take my pencil and draw in where I want my coastal line to be at. Of course, you don't have to do that. That's just for you to see what I'm thinking and what visual I have in mind. I'm using part 1, which is the primer of the black XL crackle paste, and spread it in a thin and even layer in this marked section. Base layer has to be below the structure paste, which we will apply next for two reasons. First, to hold the cracked paste permanently in place, and number two, this is also the layer that will be visible between the cracks later on. Next up, I'm using part 2 of the crackle paste system, which is the structure paste, and layered onto my still wet base layer. You heard me right. In order for this to work, you should apply while the base layer is still wet. So don't be thinking of cleaning your house or run some errand at this point, because it won't work. You might have noticed I moved from spatula to my beloved studio only butter knife here because it has become one of my favorite tools in spreading certain textures. The thicker you apply this texture, the bigger and more dramatic the cracks are going to be, and that's what I did here. Looking at the side view here now, I would judge it to be 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch thick perhaps. Okay, now we have arrived at the point you can start running your errands, because we have to wait till this cracks and dries properly. Depending on thickness and ambient temperature, it will probably happen between 1 and 3 days. Mine took 3. This is what the dried result looks like. You could certainly leave it bare or paint it, but today I'm going to gold leaf it with you guys, and to do so we first need a gold leaf or metal leaf adhesive. I'm putting this adhesive thoroughly on any area I want my gold leaf to be permanently attached to, and once applied you have to wait till it gets tacky. Each brand is a bit different, so check your instructions. I will also be listing the items I used in the description below this video in case you want to have a closer look at them. Once covered, I gave it 35 to 45 minutes before I put my sheets of gold leaf over it. There are different brands of metal leaf and foils out there. Some are messier and harder to clean up than others, and I happen to use one that's quite messy but also quite good for demonstration purposes, especially to show you how to fix hard to clean areas after. This gold is from Kino or Kino, not sure how to pronounce it properly. I now proceed to tap and rub gently over all the areas wearing my cotton gloves. You could also use an old cotton shirt and wrap that around your fingers to do so. And the reason for this is that the natural oils in our hands can cause gold leaf to discolor. And since it's an extended contact at this moment, I'm trying to shield it. I'm taking a dry brush, something with softer bristles, to go over each area and in between the cracks. As you can see, there is still no vigorous brushing. It's rather a dragging along of the brush to separate the gaps and loosen the bigger pieces. If you start brushing wildly at this point, lots of tiny particles will get airborne and start to float around everywhere, and trust me, you don't want to do that. Let me speed this up and get a little closer for you. A majority of the big pieces got loose now, so I can take my vacuum and simply clean them off. I'll go over it real good couple of times back and forth, and once my vacuum can't pick up anything on its own anymore, I return to grab my brush with the vacuum still on. Holding it in one hand, I now proceed to brush vigorously to loosen up all the remaining bits, but before they have any chance to get airborne, they will get sucked up by the vacuum cleaner. On a side note, although I brush vigorously at this point, I'm not using a whole lot of pressure since I don't want to scratch or damage the gold leaf area in any way. So this is what my clean area looks like, which is pretty good, but has quite some imperfections for what I want it to look like in terms of sharp and clean design. And since I'm painting the upper part black, I'm gonna extend and fix those minor areas in the process. Using some acrylic paint, I go over the bits I want to cover quickly and proceed to paint the rest of my board in black. So this is what my finished board looked like once dried. I make sure to double check to see if my backside is protected with tape, level my board and continue to mix up some resin. I pour my clear resin first, making sure that I pour the edge of the wave not too low because I know it will continue to move down further on its own. I make sure that I have everything covered and there are no gaps anywhere before torching it to get rid of the bubbles. Next, I take some resin that's colored with white pigment paste and pour it right on the edge of my wave before I start blowing it out with my heat gun. I hold the heat gun kinda sideways and blow the white over the top of the clear resin rather than downward into it. I torch it one more time and cover it to let it cure until the next day. It has cured and I'm repeating the steps from the day before to spread my resin, adding the white on the edge of the wave and blowing it out to get some lacing. You can always come back and add some more white to the edge in the end if too much has blown away or you want a crisper line. Last but not least, when everything had time to dry and cure properly, you want to take a gold leaf sealer and go over all the bits of gold. This will protect the area from oxidating and tarnishing over time. I hope you found this tutorial useful and inspiring. If so, please like and subscribe so I know to and make more videos in the future. Please also check the description box for additional information and product links that might be useful. Much love and bye for now.